Okay, I think we are live. We are on air. This is the third Quest Hangout. Hello, everyone who is watching, all four of you. Joining us this week, in no particular order. Please wave at the camera. We have Bear Bear.
Hello.
We have Chelsea Colkman.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We have Daniel Pouchot.
How's it going?
We have Lauren Sell.
Hi!
Melanie Troop.
Hi, everybody!
And our very special guest, the one true hero, Lina Carollo.
Yeah.
Hello! I am Joff. This is Rebecca.
Hello.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Lina, you absolutely have no idea how incredible this is to have got to convince you to come on the show, because
no way.
You know, you basically
my pleasure.
You won our favorite reality show contest. You won it, so I mean, you are.
I love that it's your favorite. No, you guys are the star, and honestly, it is more. I think it's honestly more exciting on my end. I'm like, oh, people love the show. That's all I watch, you know. So thank you, and I really appreciate your kind words. Thank you.
Thank you, Bear. Stop pushing buttons.
Right.
Oh, get off of that.
We caught
Does this mean that?
You were taking photos to commemorate, weren't you?
Oh, yep. I apologize.
We caught you. No.
You know what? Why don't we go into it the same as we have the last couple of weeks? Why don't we just do a round table, and we'll ask you some questions, Lina, and you can do your best to answer them, or just not.
All right.
Why don't we start with Melanie? Why don't you ask the question?
Of course, you're going to make me go first.
Of course I am.
So this is an interesting question that I just kind of spur of the moment thought of. Obviously, you guys ate food when you were there. What kind of food did they feed you? Was it in true character of the show, or were you having like chicken nuggets from McDonald's?
I actually wish we were having chicken nuggets from McDonald's at one point. No, they definitely tried to fit the theme of the show. It was pretty regimented. In the mornings, we would always have not croissants, like that sounds so fancy, like more like muffins and like cold cuts, and we had like some yogurt and stuff, but our lunch was definitely like themed for the show. Like there was like
giant
cold
turkey leg.
What was it? A turkey leg?
Like a giant turkey leg?
Yeah, honestly, and like pulled pork. There was at one point like barley with like an egg on top. Like they would have, and we ordered from like the same, like wherever we got the food from was coming from the same place all the time. So if there was one thing that someone really liked, we would just get it all the time. But it definitely fit the theme. So yeah, by the end of it, we had the same kind of meal every day, which was interesting. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. But I was like used to I need some of my fast food every once in a while, you know what I mean? And no coffee at all.
Oh,
so I was like,
wow.
no coffee, no alcohol, none of your girly drinks, girly wine or Moscato or any of that. But it was good because we all were refreshed and cleansed and really immersing ourselves in the times with. Oh my God, was that a waffle in your mouth?
We see that, Lauren.
Wow.
And no waffles. We had no waffles.
Oh.
I told you.
I know.
Okay, now that Lauren has her mouth full, Lauren, why don't you ask a question?
You're evil, Joff.
Oh.
What? Okay. I'm actually going to start with a Twitter question. This one is from the Josh time. I think I asked this last week too. Oh well. He would like to know, what is your greatest weakness and what could you do to overcome it? What do you do to overcome it?
Sure. That's a good question. My greatest weakness in general, or are you on the show?
He doesn't specify.
Wait,
so you can choose.
He didn't specify? Okay, so I'll say something that was reflective on both on the show and in real life. You know, my greatest weakness would probably be that I'm a very internal person. Like I think a lot in my head instead of just like clearing my mind and just going after it. I'm always in my head, like always. So I think that was definitely my biggest weakness because whenever there would be a challenge or whatever it would be that would come up during the quest, I would like try to like think ahead and think about all the different things of what's what's expected, how I could actually beat the challenge or whatever it is, but almost too much. You know what I mean? Where it's almost like you just have to go and do it and trust yourself. And sometimes I think not that I don't trust myself, it's just I put too much pressure on myself to kind of already know what's going to happen, which is impossible. You have to just go with it.
Very cool. Okay, Daniel, your turn. Daniel, are you there?
Daniel!
Uh-oh.
Okay, we'll come back to Daniel. We might have lost him. Chelsea, go ahead.
I actually have 2 questions for you, Lina. The first is, if you could choose any challenge to do over again on the quest, what would it be and why? Also, what was the first thought that came to your mind that when you found out that you were the one true hero?
Great questions as well. So for sure the one challenge I would want to redo was the one where we had to put the cranks together and close the what was that called? Like it was like the dragon lair.
Yeah.
I was so mad after that challenge because what was that? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
I can hear.
Yeah, I'm still
sorry.
here. Sorry.
No. I'm sorry. It's going in and out. I wasn't sure if it's
my husband's
phone.
grandmother's place.
No, it's okay. Oh my gosh, stop.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I thought because I'm going in and out, so I'm like, oh no, is my phone about to die again?
Is this your purse?
You
won't forget your purse.
During that challenge, they didn't really. I mean, obviously editing sometimes you don't get the full story of the challenges. So, can you hear me? I don't really hear you.
Is
You guys
that on
hear me? I
your
feel
end,
like
Chelsea?
Mute until you get settled.
Okay.
Sorry.
There we go. Better. Yay.
Go for it, Lina.
Sorry, I don't know how much you heard, but I was saying how sometimes when the show does the editing, you don't see everything that goes on. And when they explained the directions, they had said that there was going to be 2 bags that were attached to the tree that had all the pieces that you were supposed to put together to do the crank. And when I went to my tree, the one bag, which still was my fault, again, I wasn't paying like full attention. There was 2 bags, but only one of them was on the tree, and the other one was like down by the like almost like behind the tree on the floor. So like in that moment, you're like go that like I didn't even like stop to look all over to see where that second bag is. I just grabbed what was on the tree, went back, and it was just like such a small mistake that obviously cost me that challenge. So lesson learned, like just really pay attention to every word and
I think the majority of us really felt your pain because I would have done the same thing. I would have grabbed that one bag hanging.
I mean, because that was what they said.
Yeah.
So I was really upset about that.
Yeah. Okay, Bear.
Yes. I apologize for the picture thing earlier.
I don't care. I'm flattered.
Big fan. I had to take a pic. The question I have is, since you are a hero now, you're the top dog and such too. What advice would you have for younger ladies who wish to become a hero, rather be, for example, a policeman, fire department, military, or someone that could be a lady that they could look up to? Others could look up to.
You're saying, wait, I'm so sorry. Can you say that one more time? Did you say who can they look up to, or
what advice would you have for young ladies that wish to become heroes, basically?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad that you asked that question because I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but I actually just put my 3 weeks in at my place of employment because I really have taken this title to heart. And that's kind of what my goal is to kind of, not kind of, but is to motivate and inspire boys, girls, whatever it is, but most specifically young girls that don't feel like they have the qualities or whatever it is to be a hero, and that's not true at all. You know, my advice to all young girls, again, and even boys as well, is really just don't let anyone put you down and tell you can't do it, especially if you're a female, you know what I mean? Just because you see someone and they're bigger than you, they might be even smarter than you, at the end of the day, it always comes down to that moment in time when you have to just do whatever it is that your goal is, and it's up to you. Like, you just have to go after it, and you're the only person that can tell yourself you can't do it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, and this was kind of to answer Chelsea's question as well. I felt bad I didn't get to answer a second one, but at that moment, and I even tested myself there, when I won, when I shot that arrow and I crossed that bridge, the feeling is absolutely unexplainable that overcame me. It's something that I want everyone to feel, and if they haven't felt it, it is like, oh my gosh, it's just like an ecstatic feeling where you're like, oh my gosh, it is possible. Like, something just overcomes your whole body and your mind, and you're like, you can do whatever it is that you want to do, you know? And people always say that, you always hear that, and just to really feel it and know, it's again, it's unexplainable, and I need to share that with everyone, and that is why I'm so focused on making this a bigger impact on the rest of, hopefully, the world. Like, I really want to do big things with it, and we'll see what happens, but yeah.
Thank you, Paladin Lita. I appreciate it. I think girls kick butt too.
Thank you. They do. We do. I don't want to be, you know, I'm there for the boys too. I'm supporting the guys too, but, you know, obviously it's a special place in my heart since I did beat the 2 guys. So.
Not just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Rebecca, do you have a question?
Yeah. One of the questions that I want to know is how. I know that you've talked about being a school counselor, and you're obviously leaving that job now. But do you think that that experience actually helped you in Everrealm, working with people in counseling and giving people, you know, tips and that? Do you think it actually helped you through?
Yes, absolutely. Because actually, hand in hand, the counseling helped me when I was on the show, and then obviously being on the show and going through that experience helps me now when I'm counseling. On the show, you know, you have to remember that we didn't know each other. You know, all we had was each other, and we would to entertain ourselves. We would talk, and we would get to know each other. In the challenges, we would have to pay attention to our strengths, our weaknesses. So it was, for me, when I was there on the show, the experience that I got from it was like just how much you really can understand about a person when you pay attention to all those little details. Because on the show, you were forced to do that. You know, you want to know everyone's strengths and weaknesses and what everyone's about. And in order to do that, you have to really pay close attention. So translating that into counseling, I'm a 6th grade counselor right now. So when one of my students come in and they talk to me, they could be telling me a story about, I don't know, maybe something that happened over the weekend or whatever, but during that story, I really now, even more so than ever, I pay attention to all the little details, because I could be missing one little key that really opens up the can of worms that really could be impacting that child. So that's what I got from being on the quest, and how that's impacted, well, you know, in my work. But it definitely goes hand in hand.
And Daniel didn't get to ask his. Did he?
No, Daniel, welcome back. You have a question.
Yeah. I was just wondering, the part of the show where Verlox approached the castle, and y'all went into the woods and basically lived in the woods. Right. Were y'all staying in the woods the whole time?
Yep. We you saw the tent area? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. When y'all were in the tent area.
Yeah, once we left, we did. We stayed there, and as you can imagine, we, like, towards the end of the show, I think it was, I mean, the filming, I forget how many days, but I think it was a good, like, 4 or 5 days. Like, after that egg challenge, me, Bonnie, and Patrick did the fate challenge, and there was, like, all that slime and everything. We didn't shower after that. I had water bottles. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't mean to waste water, but I needed to, like, just the stench, everything. So I was, like, trying to, like, wash my hair and, like, rinse off my body with water bottles. So it was pretty brutal. But, again, it all came hand in hand with immersing us into the Everrealm. You know, they had to do that, and I'm so happy that they did. You know, at the time, it really stunk, you know? I mean, literally, it stunk, but, and it was kind of torturous, but at the end of the day, like, we needed that because when all was said and done, and then, you know, when the show was over and we went back to the hotel and everything, it was the weirdest thing because you're so used to living this, like, fantasy life. Like, we lived in a fantasy world, and then we're going back to a hotel, and it's like, oh my gosh, like a real working shower, like clean clothes, clean sheets. It's bizarre, and it was only a month. You know what I mean? Imagine doing something like that for 2-3 months on hand. It would be awesome.
Wow. Actually, okay, I have a question that came in from Twitter. At Josh Kolker would like to know, Lina, in episode 2, when the Queen was poisoned, you really looked shocked. How real did it seem?
Okay, and I actually remember him tweeting that to me, and dead seriously, when that happened, you guys have to remember that everything that happened during the show, as you guys are finding it out, so are we. Like, we weren't prepared at all for anything that happened in any of the episodes. So yeah, like by the second episode, we're starting to figure out the plot and the storyline and what our purpose is. But at the end of the day, like, again, we didn't know the Queen was going to get poisoned, and so when that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like, is she dying right before our eyes? Is she really? Maybe she's really choking. Like, I don't know. Like, you start to almost mix up reality and what's happening in the plot. So I was very concerned and very freaked out. So that was true. That was a true reaction for sure.
Okay, and actually to add on to Josh's question, did you guys usually eat in that setup, or was that unusual? Was that just for the shot?
No, and that's so funny because when we eat at that same table. We would eat like off camera and everything, but It was never so beautifully set up like that. The thing is, we didn't even know we were supposed to be filmed that night. They brought us out to the table. They had this like beautiful feast prepared. We actually had wine, which again we weren't drinking, nothing. So we're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, we got so excited. Me, Shondo, I think it was like, I don't even know who else. We were so excited to eat. We were like going at it, and then all of a sudden, like, the Queen, the camera, everything comes out. We're like, no, we're like, this is part of the script. But it was cool because it was, again, always least expected, and it worked.
That's awesome. Okay, let's do another once round with the group for questions. Let's mix it up and go back to Chelsea because obviously I interrupted the second part of your question, Chelsea. Maybe you'll want to re-ask that or ask something different.
It's okay, don't worry about it. The second part of my question, Lina, was what was the first thought that popped into your head when you found out you were the one true hero?
Yeah, I half answered that with the other question, but yeah, to answer that more clearly, the first like feeling, thought, it's really unexplainable. It was almost a feeling of disbelief at first. As soon as I hit the arrow and I crossed over the bridge, they obviously didn't show this, but I was hysterical. Like, fell to my, no, I was, and I was so thankful that they didn't put that on the show because I fell to my knees. I was like, wait, did I really just win? Like, I couldn't believe it at all. And the producers, everyone all came out, the camera, and they're like in my face, and I'm bawling. Like, you just get this sense and feeling like, oh my God, I was really able to do that. Like, I was capable of doing that the whole time. And to be honest with you, like, I always told myself, I don't want to get myself out of the game. I want to like always be in it and always tell myself that I have a chance. But like, naturally, the feeling at the end, being in the competition with Shondo and Andrew, two guys that really never went to the Fates. Shondo went once, or they both went once, and just being strong players. And then me, I've been to Fates, I think it was 3 or 4 times. I never actually won a Fates challenge. So that was starting to bother me. And then, again, just having succeeded was euphoric. It was a euphoric feeling that it felt really good.
Awesome. Let's go to Bear.
I was curious though, as I see through the show too, like, how did you ladies keep your hair all nice? Because I know there was a lot of things going on, and you ladies look like you were maintaining that hair, and you were doing great at it too. Well, there's some difficulties going on there too. It looked like you guys were on it. Just coming straight from a camp out. Looked like you're having a good time. Not saying the hair was looking bad or anything. They were just curious. That's all too. It looks like You're going through a little bit of hell there.
Thank you. Well, thank you and not thank you, I guess. No, well, the hair, to be honest, I can't take full credit for that because we all kind of helped each other out when, like, when all the ladies were there. But Leticia definitely, like, I think you could actually see the difference when before she was banished and, like, all my hairstyles, and then after she was banished and I had to, like, manage it myself. So, honestly, like, she, like, was amazing. She would, like, put all the braids in my hair and, like, do all the stuff to it. I've always, to be honest with you, I've always been like a tomboy. Like growing up with 3 older brothers, like I never was one to like do crazy things to my hair or really know how to manage it that well. But we made it work. The other girls helped me out, and then as you can see, I had my sock bun in a lot, which all you ladies might know what that is. But that was like my go-to because exactly there was no running water. We're not showering. Like we're like our hair is like gross and nasty and greasy, So we just had to make do.
Understood.
That's what paladins do.
So, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Melanie, do you have another question?
I do. So those moments when the backstory was kind of going on and the actual actors on the show were kind of interacting and talking to each other, I noticed that you guys, the paladins, were just kind of standing there and there wasn't a lot of questions that you guys were asking, of the actors and the townspeople, for instance. Were you guys urged not to ask questions? Like when the show first started, did they say, hey, don't interact as much, we'll let you know when it's time for questions? Because I would have been all over that. I would have been, hey, you, and
right.
hey, you. So kind of, excuse me, curious about that. Were you just kind of told to kind of stand back and watch?
That is an excellent question because, like, even myself watching the show when it first aired, I'm like, oh man, like we really didn't say anything like at all, like we didn't get involved. But I think, and I really think I can answer for everyone with what I'm about to say. But you have to again remember that when we first got on the show, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. We didn't know. I think the overwhelming feeling of just not knowing where we're at, what's going on, like, are we supposed to ask questions? And the person I really look at is that really I think went above and beyond is Sean Doe with even his commenting and his interviews and everything and being like truly like hysterical and funny and like questioning everything. I do wish I knew the concept a little bit more ahead of time, so I could like be more into it and asking questions like from the very get-go. Because you're right, as the storyline continues, we do get more comfortable, and then we start to ask questions. I don't think any of us really knew we could, which is silly when you think about it. But I'm not really sure why. They never told us not to. I think all of us were just trying to figure it out in the beginning.
I wonder how different it would have been had you guys asked more questions, and what would their comments on the fly would have been like.
For sure. Well, there was times too when we weren't filming, and it would be like right before we're about to film, and we would be with either Creo or Saransgar, and we would talk to them, trying to like just get a feel for their personality, and they never broke character, like ever. Like again, even when they weren't filming, they were amazing at improv. They would totally like make up stories and go along with whatever it was. Like they were excellent at that. So it would have been interesting to see that though.
For sure. Thanks.
Awesome. Daniel, do you have a second question?
Yes. When you went to the Fates, when Patrick was vanished, did you suspect at all that Andrew would have taken you, or what was your feelings towards that?
So that moment, I swore that I was going home. I swore it because I had just had a conversation with all the guys, prior to even going. We knew we were in the Fates, but it was before actually doing the challenge. And I even said to Andrew, because obviously he had been like my support system there, like he was like totally had my back the whole time. And I had said to him, I said, listen, like, this was a great run. I'm so happy I made it this far. Like, I know you're going to vote for Patrick, as you should. Do what your heart tells you, like whatever. And he really he never said anything like, oh no, I'm going to vote for you. I almost got the sense too that he was going to vote for him if that was what the situation would become. So no, I really thought I was going home that day. I really did.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Lauren, back to you.
Me. Okay. Well, I'll ask you the one question that really only you can answer, and that is, in the end, the very end, when everybody else is banished and they're all back and being distraction, and you're gonna go vanquish Verlox with the Sun Spear. I know, like, up until then, it had all been very real for you guys and going with the flow, but I get the feeling that maybe that was a little more scripted. Could you tell us a little bit about how that went?
Yeah, for sure. You're talking about the very end, like when I was head on with Verlox?
Yep, you, Verlox, and the Sun Spear.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So at that point, yeah, of course, they had to like give me some direction as to what was going on. When I got, like, I had to, like, I wish they showed the other part of it. I think they showed a little bit when I was like running through the castle. I end up like going down the steps and like seeing Creo and the Queen tied up and Verlox there. So remember how I threw the spear, the second challenge, right? You remember how I threw that spear, right? So embarrassing. So I think I know they wanted to make sure I didn't look like an idiot again. So they definitely were training me as to how to like hold it and how to actually attack Verlox. And this is really funny, but that's what should I say? That moment when I was with Verlox, it was a good, like, I think 2 hours or so of me practicing, like, trying to, like, use the spear to, like, defeat him. And I just was not getting it. I was not getting it at all. And they did an amazing job putting it together, and I'm very impressed. Thanks, because it made me look really good. But yeah, that definitely was. There was a lot of they were definitely giving me a lot of direction in that scene for sure. So I mean, the facial expressions, all of that's on me because I was really trying to get into it. But in terms of like how to use the spear and where to put the spear and how to point it at him, all of that stuff, no, they definitely had to give me some direction with that.
Was the line "you can try" all you?
Oh, you can try, yeah. Well, okay, so they did have they did feed me a couple different different lines for different scenarios, but they also had me improv it too, like to see what they thought would be best for me. So there was more actually into that scene that didn't get shown. Yeah.
DVD
Okay.
extras.
Yeah, DVD extra.
Right?
Yes.
We need the bloopers.
Yes. Hey, Rebecca?
Yep.
Do you have a question?
I do. Another one. I'm just wondering if there was like some small detail about the experience that you weren't expecting, that when you encountered it, you were just like, wow, this is, just kind of blew you away.
Oh, wow. I mean, everything blew me away, but something that really stood out, probably, I mean, everything really did, but I think, you know what? When I saw the ogre close up, I was legitimately scared. Like, it looked so real. Like, the animatronics, I didn't know if it was a real person under there, if it was like a robot. Like, it was just, that was another part. The first episode when we're in the woods, and I don't know if, I think you guys know this, but it was supposed to be a 2-hour episode, and they shortened it to an hour, which I was kind of upset about because there was a lot of good footage that really would have like made the story a lot clearer in the beginning as well. But in the very beginning, when we're in the woods, and you know how we actually came out of the woods covered in mud.
Yeah.
Well, the reason for that was because there was 2 ogres, I think it was, that they could smell us. So that's why we had to cover ourselves with muds, and we like hid under a wagon. Yeah, we hid under this wagon. I know, it was really cool, and I'm really bummed that it didn't make it on the show. But these 2 ogres were like sniffing around, and like this is again the first time we're being shown these like the ogres and the animatronics and all that cool stuff, and we're in the woods under this wagon, like really kind of like freaking out, like what is gonna happen? Is this ogre gonna come and like flip this wagon over? Like, oh, we were just like going nuts, but. That is when the reality really set in of Everrealm. Like, this is really happening. Like, I couldn't believe it. They just did amazing work with the makeup and the special effects. It was, it was mind-boggling.
And they really threw you in at the deep end. I mean, it was completely immersive.
Oh, yeah. But yeah.
Okay, I actually have a question that's come in from Twitter. Norman Pyle asks, how did you feel, I believe this in the finale, when you turned around and saw all the other paladins kneeling?
I think that was actually the best moment of the entire show. Like, you know, obviously I won and that was great, but I think turning around, and they did it, I don't know how, I think they really did like fall from the sky, because I did not hear a sound. Like, I didn't at all. It was completely like, and maybe it was just because I was still freaking out in my head, but I had no idea that was going to happen. No idea. So then I turn around and I see everyone's faces, and I just like, I started crying. I think they also didn't show that too much, because I'm so sensitive. Like, every little thing I'm like, oh my God, like I just couldn't believe it. So I was that was a really good feeling, pure joy and excitement. It was awesome.
Actually, and I do have a question myself, which is just before that moment, turning around with the Sun Spear. How did it feel to assemble the Sun Spear? How surreal was that to have the fates staring down at you as you took the symbols for each of the other 11 paladins?
I'm starting to think that you talk to some people that, and you know, like the backstories of all these. I'm like, I don't know what's really what, because that was another moment where it literally, I swear, it took like 10 minutes, and it was so awkward. I'm like winding all the pieces together, and the fates are just like staring at me, and it was like a process. So again, when they edited it, you know, when they edited that piece, it didn't look as
Well, I'm picturing you screwing them together and going, just a minute, 1 minute, hang on. And
I'm just like looking up and smiling creepily, like, I got this, all right. Like, next one. It was so awkward. So again, I'm very happy they didn't show that either. It was funny, because even the fates were like smirking at me, like, okay, all right.
Okay, we're actually doing really well for time, but I'm actually going to give you the opportunity, Lina, to ask us a question, whether that's, actually any of us in the Hangout, or just the Quest Army at large, if you have any questions for us, or if you'd just like to talk at us about the Quest Army's efforts and what we could be doing to what can we do to help the show get renewed.
For sure, and thank you. I appreciate you opening it up. I do want to ask, if you don't mind, individually, like just telling me what moment within the show is when you really like connected with the quest. Like, what really intrigued you most about the quest? At what episode? What moment in time? Yeah. Like, when did you know you were a fan?
Ooh. Okay. Stick your hands up if you have that answer. I'm thinking of mine.
I know.
Daniel, go
on. I knew I was going to be a fan as soon as y'all entered Elverrealm. As soon as I saw Elverrealm, I knew this is what I want to watch. Because it just the complete immersion into that kind of fantasy world is what I've been wanting to do since I was 6 years old. So that when I saw Elverrealm, I knew that I was hooked.
Awesome. Love that.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Go on. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, you know, I think it's the same for me, you know, going off of what Daniel said. You know, my husband is blind, and he did some descriptive video for the show before it even came out, and he was telling me, he said, you know, there's this new show coming out, and he gave me kind of the plot, and this is what it's about, and I thought, sounds interesting, I suppose. And then I watched the first episode on Hulu. I think it was like the third episode when I first started watching it, and I watched it on Hulu, and I came out of the bedroom, and I said, oh my gosh, best show ever. I don't know, I was just so into it from the second, because you're just on the edge of your seat the entire time, and yes, it's a reality show, but on the other hand, it's not. It's this amazing, and it's not backstabbing crap that we're so used to seeing. So, you know, it was at that moment where I thought, oh my gosh, this is just so amazing. And, you know, just the fact that you guys were all there for the same purpose, and that whole family, you guys really were a family. and that togetherness was just so amazing. So yeah, I'm kind of with Daniel on that. From the first second, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so hooked. This is great. So yeah, it's awesome.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Okay.
With me, I would have to say we actually found out about the show from a friend that I've known since childhood. And she posted it in a group that Joff and I run, and she said, you guys are going to love this show. And we're like, okay, yeah, whatever. It says reality show. We don't normally ever watch network TV as just a general thing, and especially not reality shows. And even watching the initial thing where everybody was getting pulled into the storyline, we're like, okay, well, we could go with this. We like good stories, you know, really simple or really complex. But as the EPs have called it, an immersive reality. As soon as we realized they were actually taking everybody and putting them in a totally different circumstance than what any of them and any of you guys had ever experienced before, we're like, okay, we got to see what keeps going on. Yeah. And then we did get hooked and went back and watched everything else.
What actually did it for me, what the specific scene that actually did it for me where I knew that this show was different, is after you Paladins made it to Castle Sanctum, and the very cool greeting that you received from the guards, and being escorted to the little, I don't want to call it a cell,
the chamber.
Thrown in that room, the chamber.
Yeah.
And it was when Creo is pulled away by the guards, and he was resisting at the same time as telling you guys, it's going to be fine, I'll be back, it's okay. That's what did it, because the reaction from all 12 Paladins was just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Where the hell are we? And then we see that because
what was going on.
And then we see, you know, like Ashley is trying to work on an escape plan, and you know, Shondo is making it very clear, if we want to leave, we can leave. It was just very funny to watch, you know, and to have that opportunity to see these deeper introductions. It's just fantastic. And then at the end of that scene, then you get to meet, you know, the Grand Vizier. That's what did it for me, and I hooked since, and we've rewatched it and rewatched it and rewatched it and rewatched it.
But like Melanie said, I mean, especially the whole thing of realizing that even though you guys are in competition, that it's a friendly competition, that it's not about, you know, trying to see, okay, well, I'm going to, you know, get after you this way in order to leverage this, but that everyone is recognizing we want the best person to win.
I think it was Adria that said that in the first elimination, where she said, you've got to think of it from this perspective. You want to help find the one true hero. Or keep the people around that can help find the one true. That really sums it up, and it was just beautiful. Anyone else? Throw your hand up if you have a question.
Thank you.
Bebe, Lauren, anyone?
Still thinking.
It's okay. No.
Bebe, go ahead.
You did ask what made us come into a fan. As a LARPer, as you can see. Ta-da!
I love it.
Pressed for the occasion. I'm a barbarian master, as they say, is awarded, not just given. And I'm also a Lord of the Realm for the Amtgard West March. That would be California for anyone that doesn't know. When the OneRing.net was advertising for the first season, which all of you are successfully in that one, and congratulations for that as well, I was getting ready like, man, I hope they considered me or something. Like, man, I'm so excited. And I even entered.
Did you go to the audition?
I went to the audition in Salt Lake City even, where I accidentally met Bonnie. And I got to shake hands with Shondo. And that was really exciting for me as a LARPer, because the show itself, the idea, was so great that I was like, someone's got to be a part of this. LARPer's got to be part of this. So I went ahead, and I was already a fan before it even aired. But as far as the show, everyone's shared something for what got them locked in. I'd have to say that underwater river, the little cave river.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
Yes, indeed. Beautiful. And the fates end up saying, like, you've been summoned, and I was like, oh, man. Wow. Man, these guys are serious about this show. And that right there was like the other half of me being locked in. You know, absolutely love this kind of stuff. So that's I was already a fan before this even started. You just got to start advertising. It was awesome.
Yeah, it makes me so happy that like all the moments that you guys are talking about are early on in the show, in the season. So I just feel like it definitely does it gives the show justice and gives the producers justice that they really did provide that immersive experience that drew the viewers in, and that was the goal. So I'm glad that it translated really well to you guys. So
Oh yeah.
thank you,
Everybody's
thank you,
afraid
thank
of
you,
the
thank you,
fates.
thank you, thank
Yep.
you. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Did anyone else want to share, or do you want me to talk a little bit about the Quest Army?
I can.
Hey, Quest Army. There we go.
There you
Do you
go.
want to share, Laura?
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I started watching because Adria is my cousin, and
What?
I
She
have
is?
never gotten into a reality show before at all. Yes. Yeah. My dad and her mom are siblings.
Sweet.
So
Love
yeah.
it.
So I was gonna watch anyway, but I was like skeptical because I don't watch reality shows ever. And when she finally was allowed to tell us a little bit about what it was about, and she
Right.
told the very first second she was allowed because she knew I'd love it.
Yeah.
I was still a little skeptical because I'm like, I don't watch reality shows. I don't know how they're going to fit in this fantasy scripted element. And so the second, well, I fell in love with all of the Paladins the moment you guys ran out of the woods and saw the castle. Because, like, to tell you were so into it and you were exhausted and amazed and thrilled. And so just like I just fell in love with all you guys then. And then over the next couple of minutes, as I started bringing in the story, I was just floored and was like, okay, that's how they're doing it. They're doing it well. I'm in love.
Yay! Ah, thanks, Lauren. And that's so cool. That's so funny that you're Adria's cousin. That's awesome. I feel a connection already.
Yeah. That's the other thing that really got me was like in the days building up to the first episode when I found out all of you were on Twitter, all of the Paladins, all of the producers, the cast, everybody, and you were not just there, you were all super engaged, and I love that. And that just made me happy.
No, obviously we love it too. Like, and I'm extremely, obviously I'm thankful that I was part of this show, but I think I'm even more thankful that there's people that support it as much as we do. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I think it's a lot bigger than the show itself. And that's something that, again, with the Quest Army, I think the goal, because we're all pushing for something, and I think a lot of people maybe aren't even, obviously we want that second season, right? So we're sure about that. But at the end of the day, too, it's also the message. It's the message of being a hero, and anyone can be a hero. And with that saying, that's maybe just like a little preview of something that we're working on internally, like with the like I'm working with I can't really talk too much about it, but working with some of the producers about something we'll introduce very, very soon. And I think Rob Eric gave a little peep about it. So we'll talk about that soon, very soon.
Lina, you can tell us. We won't tell you.
Oh no, because I'll stay right here.
And of course, if you need a cast for whatever you're working on, I hope it was.
All right, I'm not saying anything. So, but we'll see. Just be patient. Be patient. But that alone, that there's something going on there, of course, and we'll mention that very, very soon. And then, again, I quit my job, and I'm really like going like full throttle, like really, really full effect, full force. I want to, and I mentioned a little bit before, is really use, again, my skills as a school counselor, as well as the heroic qualities that I've showed on the quest, and the overall experience, and use that to motivate and inspire others. And I think on my end personally, like, again, this is my way of really giving back and trying to be the ultimate hero that I can be, is by doing, I want to start doing like more motivational and inspirational tours and things like that, and really trying to just target the masses. At the end of the day, it's, again, to really throw that message out there that anyone can be a hero and everyone has the qualities, and just spread the good word. And obviously it connects with the quest, and hopefully that can offer it a second season as well. We'll see. But yeah, so I think as the Quest Army in total, it's more than just a show. It's again spreading the message of just being a good person, doing the right thing, and just spreading because it's almost like contagious, you know what I mean? Once like I feel like the show does pick up and gets a good enough, following, which we already have one, obviously it's huge, but I think the more that we spread the word and push it, that it will become contagious and people will be talking about it just as much as all those other reality shows that spread that kind of, I mean, not all of them, but that more have a negative connotation. We just have to get it to that standard, that height, and I think it's very possible.
But the funny thing is, every time I'm trying to tell someone, okay, you haven't heard of this show, you haven't seen it advertised, if you just trust me and watch the first episode, you'll watch the rest. And it's actually been very difficult to convince a lot of people, even though I know that they'll love it. And I keep hearing success stories from other Quest Army members who, when they do convince people, the word has spread. I mean, the number of people in the Facebook group is soaring. The amount of activity, the fact that we're doing the rewatch and the live tweet, it's
it's unbelievable.
It's the highlight of my week. Such a crazy buzz, just to be,
all of us. I love it.
Just all of us sitting there throwing the show on, and then we're just tweeting like crazy and trying to convince people.
Isn't that amazing? That is
awesome.
Crazy. Like even when I was for the rewatch, it's like you're trying to catch up, and then I'm like going through the news feed and like seeing everything. And it's like a bomb just got like let off. You know what I mean? Like that has to show something. So that is it's. Oof. I don't have words.
No, it's been absolutely incredible, and it's again even that is inspirational. And I haven't reacted to a show like this
ever.
So
I love that.
I'm telling anyone that'll listen. The people I work with, my Facebook feed is full of it. I am a Quest Army convert, and it's a personal mission of mine to make people watch this show because of what it promotes. Because it promotes such positive qualities. The competition doesn't have to be backstabbing and
negative. Be supportive.
Right. The competition is a good thing, and it's actually driving the best person to the cream to the top. And I mean, you mentioned earlier, Lina, that anyone could have won, and that's generally true. But you won because you deserved it.
I swear though, I still like don't believe it for some reason. I think just again, I don't. People are like, that you won, like you're the one cheerleader, and I'm like, I know, but I don't know why. Like I did win, but it's like I just think the journey itself, getting there, and with everyone else, it's like we all won. Like really, we all won. Like it's I don't know. Maybe I just feel like we all are up there at the top. You know what I mean? And I'm very honored. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but
that was actually kind of reinforced at the end with having the other 11 paladins return.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You handling Verlox while they took care of everything else. And it was really
because we needed each other.
Getting to see all 12 of you kick some serious ass. It was really good. And you got to take care of the big bads, but the other 11 paladins were crucial, and that was awesome to see.
Yeah. And when do you see that? Any reality show where they bring everyone back? It was just so much camaraderie.
Yeah.
That last episode again, because I mean we get the episodes when it first aired. We would get the episodes like a day or two in advance to see them beforehand. We would. So we would, because also it would help us when we'd have to like live tweet and everything like that. I swear to you, I saw that last episode, and I still watch it on the regular, just because like he's still in me, and I cry every time. I'm just like, it was just put together so beautifully, and everyone was just like there as a team, and it was just it was so powerful to me. It really was. I really hope that. And I guess it does. It translates well to the public, Yeah. And I'm glad they did a good job with that.
Okay, I mean, we're actually doing really good for time. If you're happy, Lina, to go until the hour's up, I'd like to see if anyone else has any other questions. If you're willing to answer, I do. Hang on, Daniel. I saw Daniel. Daniel, I did see you put your hand up earlier, and I completely forgot. Go ahead.
When you were saying about telling other people about it. I've done the same thing, and I'm getting from a lot of people that I talk to is that they're not into reality television. And I want to ask y'all, do y'all think that it was kind of wrong for them to say it as a reality series? Because to me, it's not like any reality series I've ever seen. It's unique, and that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, even though you don't like reality, it's not reality. It's completely different, and I'm getting a lot of.
Yeah, and they tried to advertise it as a scripted/reality show, but I do kind of agree with you because, I mean, at the end of the day, it is reality, but it's unlike anything ever before. So people definitely hear that word and they automatically get turned off, which is it's a shame. What would you call it?
I don't know what I'd call it. Unique. I'd call it unique. I'd call it unique.
I like it. Yeah, no, it's its own genre, really, because, I mean, I think that people have tried before to do the whole scripted and reality thing, but this is, I think, in my opinion, and I might be biased, but first successful way of really creating that scripted and reality combination.
Right.
But I know, I totally see what you're saying. And maybe crossing fingers and manifesting, if we get a second season, we can revamp that. I don't know. I don't really know.
Everybody believes it.
What?
I hope.
I'm praying. I pray every night.
We're all with you.
Does anyone else have a question? Otherwise, I actually see a good one from Facebook. Oh, you have one?
Me?
I'm being tapped in the leg.
She said, I have one.
Well, I like finding out a lot of the behind-the-scenes things, and I know, like with Mark and Jane, they said they went in costume.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that it was them right away, or did they actually kind of keep themselves a little bit more incognito to let you guys have the experience?
They definitely were in costume, but no, we knew it was them. Like, they weren't in, like, full costume, but it was more like garb and just, like, more of the wear. But no, we still knew it was them. But it was cool because, yeah, most of the producers, and again, I don't know if they talked about this before, too, like, they really did a good job hiding everyone, like, even the cameraman and all of that, where, I mean, obviously we saw them, but personally, I thought there was probably, like, maybe total 20 people working on the production. The end of the show, when everyone got together, we actually took a huge group picture, and no joke, there was about like 300 people. That came out of the woodwork.
Wow.
Yeah, they came out of the woodwork and took this picture, and we were all just like, what? All of these people worked on this project. It was breathtaking. They did a really good job hiding that.
That's a lot of hangouts I'm going to have to do.
3 years worth of hangouts. Right on.
I actually have a good question from Rob Overmeyer on Facebook, who would like to know, was there ever a point in the entire experience where you were thinking, you personally, Lina, we're in danger here. We are. Why are we not carrying swords all the time?
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I just got a hello.
Hello, you there? Yeah. Can you hear us?
You know what? I guess it does cut off when you get I got a phone call and it totally cut it off. But I'm back now. I'm sorry, but I missed your question.
Someone wanted to know if you were doing a hangout. The question was there ever a point where you were so into it and thinking, we are in danger here. Why are we not carrying swords all the time?
Yeah, obviously the more the plot would go on, the more I was like, anything seriously can happen. Like, when it really hit me was when we got attacked by the Ranas. And, like, no joke, they were kind of, like, pushy and, like, they were, like, I mean, at that point, we're like, oh, my gosh, I thought this was the end of it. Like, I think it is over. Like, I don't know how we're going to get out of this. I don't know. Like, again, we never knew how the story would end. We never knew what I mean, yes, we have to defeat Verlox, we have to save Everrealm, but what if at the end of the journey, like, that never happened? You know, maybe that was what happens in season 2. Like, we didn't know. So when we got captured and then we were put in those cages, like, yes, we knew there was going to be a challenge, but I thought, like, I don't know, maybe that was the end of the journey. I never felt like I was in true danger, of course, but being in the story and being truly immersed at that point, yeah, I'm like, this is not okay. Like, this isn't looking too good. I don't know if I would have. Well, if I had a sword, I might have used it at that point. I would have been truly immersed.
Well, especially when the Rana were rounding you up, it was very. Yeah. Especially in Shondo, that he really wanted to wipe the floor with them, and that Peter almost had to stop him and was telling him, "No, calm, no." It really looked like both actually Shondo and Andrew were trying to grab the spears. At any point, were you ready to just throw yourself at them?
I was never ready to throw myself at that. I don't think so. I was just confused. I'm like, I don't know what, because they surrounded us, and like they actually tied our hands up too, and they were very aggressive, like very pushy. So it wasn't like, even when we were walking through the woods and stuff, and even when they weren't filming, they were still like, had that fierce, like, I don't know, like, not a good feeling at all. It wasn't, that was definitely not downplayed at all. It was, they caught us for sure, and we felt it, so. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at the time and seeing that we're coming up on the hour. I just thought of another 3 questions, but I'm not going to ask them, and I'm sure everyone else does. So I think this is a good time to thank everyone. Bear, Chelsea, Daniel, Lauren, Melanie, thank you so much for participating in this. Lina, our one true hero, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
It means the world.
Are you kidding me? Thank you.
It means the world to us as the fandom, and again, your participation.
Thank you so much.
Your participation every day, and in the rewatch, the live tweets. You are all Paladins, all cast, crew. Everyone is so active in social media. It means the world to us, which is why we are doing what we can, every one of us, to see a second season, to see 12 seasons, because it deserves it.
And it's so appreciated, more than you guys know. Like, even when we all like hang out and have our own, like, between the Paladins and the executive producers, when we have our own conversations, we talk about you guys all the time, because we're just in awe. We really are. We're just like, and it's true. You hear that all the time too. If it wasn't for the people that support and watch, there wouldn't be a show. Right. Really wouldn't be a show at all. Like, there's not even a chance. You guys are truly the reason why. Like, it's still kind of in limbo right now, and we're hopefully. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it really is all because of you, and we are just, and everything that pops up in the Quest Army, like, I'm like addicted at this point, where I'll just check in, I'll see like the fan art, I'm like, this is so cool, and it's like completely, all, like, everyone's just, I just feel like it's a very, well-rounded group of people. You know, everyone has their things to share, and it all makes sense and goes along with the theme, and it's great. It's super positive and friendly, and I don't know, it's really wonderful. It's a great community to turn to, and even if, knock on wood, and I hate to even say this, but even if the quest didn't get continued, I would still look at that group as a safe place where I could still you know, share information and communicate with you guys, because you guys are so amazing, so amazing. Thank you.
The Quest Army isn't going anywhere. We're going to be around for years to come, and that's the best thing. That's the best thing to come out of this. I hope the best for the show, but I'm thrilled that we have this community. So one last time, I just want to thank you all. I want to thank everyone that's watching, and I do want to implore everyone in the Quest Army that you can do anything to help the Quest. You can do anything to help the Quest Army, whether it's live tweeting or thanking the show's sponsors, or writing articles, or signing the petition, for example. Thank you, Chelsea. Please tell everyone to sign the petition. You can leave your comfort zone. Doing something like this, the Hangout, is my worst nightmare, and that's exactly why I'm doing it. Because that's how much. This is how much the show means to me. So I am willing to do this to support the show. And I just ask everyone else, Paladin Jim mentioned this in the very first episode about leaving his comfort zone. I'm leaving mine. I implore and invite every member of the Quest Army to do something to leave their comfort zone and to just
I love that.
take an extra step. So I just want to thank you all one last time. We're going to go off air, and then the real party begins. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lina. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Seriously,
Thank
thank you,
you.
thank you, thank
An
you.
Thank
honor.
you so much.